Today I'm taking you on a wild camp in the beautiful but rugged landscape on the border of counties Leitrim and Cavan in Ireland. This is another new and exciting route for me, and I will be sharing my usual navigation practice using map, compass and timings in good weather, preparing for more difficult conditions this winter. But don't let this put you off if that's not of interest to you, as the scenery and adventure will hopefully keep you entertained. What a glorious day. Wow, wow, wow. The weather has been absolutely terrible the last few weeks. I just couldn't let this one go. Had to get out, get myself a wild camp. It's getting a little bit later in the day here now, but because there's no cloud cover, I'll have plenty of sunshine for quite a while. It's not a particularly long walk. I'm going up to a couple of lakes, Naweeloge and Tents Loch as well. It's about an hour and a half's hike to where I want to go, and hopefully I can find a suitable spot to pitch my tent. The Wild Country Helm 2. My favourite tent, my only tent. So it's definitely my favourite tent. I noticed in my last video I hadn't nipped these up quite well enough. So let's see what that's like. I think that's a bit better. About 15 minutes west of Dara, I found a great parking spot at the end of the T-Bourne forestry track. Now, the initial climb through the wooded area turned out to be much rougher than I'd expected. Eventually, though, I made it out onto open land where I could get started on my usual map reading and compass navigation practice. After reaching Loch Naweeloge, I swung around to begin my second navigation leg. That led me to a beautiful pitching spot near the cairn just above Loch Tents, right in time for the sunset. Let's see how it all came together. Wow, what a lovely, lovely evening. My brother-in-law sent me a video today. He's at Everest Base Camp. He said hardest walking he's ever done in his life. 3 solid days of raining, followed by snow. Serves him right for showing off. He should be here with me enjoying himself. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Now that's some view, and it'll only get better once I'm through this wooded area. It's a bit of a pull up here, especially with the weight. Hope this tree area is passable. I should think it is. A few hikes back I went through a wooded area and I thought, well, it was really dense. You could easily be turned around in it. In fact, I was, and I had to use my compass to come out of it. But you think, oh, it's not too far, and you see a bit of bright light ahead of you, and you realise it's just a slight clearing. When I bothered to study the map a little bit more, my 1 in 50,000, I realised it was a good bit further to go than I thought, so that was a mistake, and I turned around. But I think I'll be all right here today. Famous last words, we'll see. Yeah, I want to get over this fence without doing any damage at all, so I think it makes sense to take this weight off me, reduce the weight on the wire, and also I'm a bit more nimble. Oh, that looks nice down there. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful. What a lovely, lovely evening. God, so glad I'm out. And we'll be heading up to Loch Naweeloge. It's another Irish name for a loch. I've no idea what it means. Probably pronouncing it completely wrong as usual. I've tried to find out information about the area, and it's been pretty sparse online. I'm probably going to have to call into a local library or whatever, because it'd be lovely to have a few stories about where I'm going, because there's some lovely hills here in Leitrim. I mean, absolutely no one around, just myself. I don't think I've ever met anyone. Well, I should tell a lie. I met one person once who was doing a little bit of rock scrambling, and that was about it. But saying that, there'll probably be a whole herd of people just around the corner. It's the usual. Let's see, let's get over here.
But I think when I come back down tomorrow, coming straight down, I won't be going over here. There's lots of hidden gaps where the roots of the cut down trees and moss is overgrown. It's leaving big holes, so I'm having to be really careful. Already sank down to my knees and got my backside soaking wet up. It's going a bit tougher than I was expecting. You know what? Instead of just battling over there, I think I'll head up. Poles are sinking really deep at times. Lucky to have them. Oh, right down. It's very wet, going up to my knees at times. Thank God I've got my gaiters with me. I'm beginning to think going up to Everest Base Camp would have been easier. That's definitely worth the effort. Although I'll be glad to be out of this bit. Absolutely fantastic. Wow, what a lovely, lovely evening. And it's great, the exertion, the physicality of it, just pushing yourself up with weights on your back. It's like a training session. Well, it is a training session. So I'll be out of the woods pretty soon. Just taking a breather. Look at that. When the weather's good, there's no place better than Ireland. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. But there's a big if there. If the weather's good. Most of my videos to date now have been in wet and windy conditions that if anyone has been following them will see. But you know, doesn't matter. That's great as well. You're still up here in the same hills. Well, actually, they're very different hills depending on the weather. I'm loving this. Okay, so let's get through here. Still got to watch your footing. It's treacherous with these old logs and tree stumps. I must turn that notification off, it's disturbing me, so as soon as I stop I'll be doing that. It's my wife and my daughter. And the usual evening, hours-long conversations. Don't know why they don't just pick up the phone and get it over within 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm just being very tentative here. I'm not pushing hard. I don't want to break an ankle. Did that once. Not walking. It's a different story. But I don't want to do it again. These poles have been brilliant. I mean, they're great for any age. But as you're getting older like I am now, they're an absolute godsend. Really helping. Well, I hadn't realised it was going to be that tough going through there. On the map it won't tell you everything. But the more experience I have going through forest lands, the more I've realised maybe I shouldn't go through them. If I hadn't gone through it, I wouldn't have had that experience. And you know what? Nice and easy does it. And we're out of them now anyway. I don't particularly want to go back that way, but my car is parked in the middle of the wooded area, so I'll take a look at the map tonight and see if there's maybe an easier route back down to it in the morning. If not, then we'll just have to repeat that. Let's see if I can read the map. I came out without my glasses. Mind you, there's a magnifying glass on the compass, and I can always use the phone and look at the map with that and expand it. I'm just going to power up here, get up to that ridge, have a look around and take a look at the navigation plan I had. Legs aren't doing too bad. I'm going to have to start getting into a bit more leg training, strengthening. I used to do a fair bit, but when COVID came along, I started working from home. So I haven't really been doing enough of it. And it's really important for this. Not doing too bad. I think this is the sort of evening I wish I had a drone with me for the camp. Now most of the time, most of the hikes through the summer, I probably wouldn't have been able to use it. But tonight I reckon I would, and it'd be lovely. But I haven't got one, so it's not lovely. But it might be an investment in the future anyway that I need to make. Actually, I forgot to put my suntan lotion on. I had squamole cells on my face. Apparently it's not cancerous, so that's great. But then again, with a name like squamole cells, it can't be great either. Otherwise it would be called something else, something much simpler. No harm in taking some precautions though anyway, which I haven't done so far, and I should have. But I will do in a few minutes when I stop. Okay, so back to a bit of map reading and compass navigation. That's the road. I was able to drive up to this point, and then I climbed through the forest to about that point. I did start going left, but found that to be too boggy. So halfway along there, I started going up, and I reckon now I'm just about at this point here. I have a bearing of 070, 950 meters. That equated to 14 minutes. So 950 meters. I'm working on 4 kilometers an hour now that I've gotten out to the forestry area. 12 plus 1.5, so 12 plus 1.5, 13.5 plus another 50. It's about 14 minutes there. Now the contours involved were 11 contours. It added on 14 plus a minute per contour. So we're looking at about 25 minutes. Now I reckon I've done 5 minutes. So if I set off from here in that direction, I'll come across a big loch. That's Loch Naweeloge, so I shouldn't miss that anyway. But there is a cairn that I'm aiming for. I reckon about 20 minutes if I've got this estimated correctly. The sun is definitely starting to go down now, and it's getting much cooler. Be bold, start cold is the expression. I haven't put a layer on, and I'll warm up pretty quick. Get myself compass to 70 degrees. I'll be going in between those two trees there to start with, and once I get to the ridge, take another bearing from there. I'll start my timer. So just over that ridge, I'll check my bearing magnetic north pointer, goes in its little housing. We see a bit of a saddle. I'm going to aim for that. Check the contours against the map. What I can see is a rise there and the land falling away to the left, but it gradually curving round to the left as well. So I'm heading in this direction. If I orientate my map, which I've done here now, we can see that I'm aiming for this cairn. I've come up from the forestry area to that point there. I've taken a bearing of 70 degrees. I've carried on for about 10 minutes now, and we can actually see that I'm still climbing. The land over there does reflect that it's bending round to the left. Okay, so if everything is correct, what I should see is over that rise there, the loch. Let's keep going and see. I'm pretty sure that dip in the ground there is the stream coming from the loch, and in the distance before that next rise, I believe I see another stream which is on the map, which comes down, and they would join there. If I'm on track, it's just over this ridge here. Aha! Very good. Very good indeed. Excellent. Exactly where I was hoping to be. right on the edge of this loch. Oh wow, what a lovely evening. Mind you, it's October and it is starting to get a bit cool now. I'll go around this and there is the next one, Tenants Loch, or Tents Loch, sorry, Tenants. Like the drink. Tents Loch. That's looking over into Sligo. Manor Hamilton, Sligo area, and it's absolutely beautiful up there. I have a video online where myself and my brother-in-law and Tom, we did the Ben Whiskin loop, and that was really nice. Actually, I should have checked the time. I should have gone a few minutes over. I haven't looked, so we'll see how fared. Just too excited about seeing that lovely loch. We're showing 23 minutes. I've just been a couple of minutes gamming on there without checking it, so that's just right. Okay, so I'll get round to the edge of this loch, take a few minutes break and set my bearing for Tents Loch. It's 1840. So I don't want to leave it too much longer before I find a pitch for the night. A lovely walk up here, and just so totally unspoilt with no one else around, so it's all mine for tonight anyway. So I'll just get around the side of this loch, just to the corner where I start my next leg. I think it was about 20 minutes there. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit drier than this side. I'm right down by the loch here anyways, it's bound to be wet. I'm at the corner of Loch Naweeloge, and let's look at the plan. That's the cairn I ended at. I've just scooted around and I'm at this corner of the loch. So I'm aiming for a cairn just to the north of Tents Loch, and hopefully I'll find a place to camp there looking over the ridge. This route here is 76 degrees, 900 meters. 900 meters works out at 13.5 minutes, taking a pace of 4 kilometers. And I'm going to stick with that because it's very boggy and heathery. There's 3 lines of gradient, or 3 contour lines. That's another 3 minutes. So it gives me 16.5 minutes. Okay, so looking at the map itself, we're at that point there, and we're aiming for that cairn there, just to the north of Tents Loch, and that's the ridge. So 76 degrees is set up on the compass. Put the needle in the dock, pointing to magnetic north, and holding it out in front of me. I'm going to be aiming for that bunch of rocks. I think that'll be the 3 contours, so I should probably be able to see Tents Loch from there. 16.5 minutes, let's see how that goes. Well, I can see the cairn, and if that's all correct, then Tents Loch, oh yeah, should be just to the right, and I can just start seeing water coming into view. So that's great. I reckon I'm about 5 minutes away from the cairn, so I'll check the timing once I get there. So I'm starting to lose the light here actually. As soon as I can find a decent pitch, I think I'll go for it, even if it's actually before I reach the cairn. It'll be lovely. A lovely evening out. There's the loch I've just come from. Tents Loch down there. And there's the cairn. I'm almost here, may as well go up there now. Looking for the perfect pitch, but can't find it. I got to stop soon really, to be honest, and just pick any. But I'm at the cairn here now, and it's a bit high ground, so I'm going to check that out. See what it's like up there, because it's still quite wet down here, although there have been a couple of spots that I could do. Actually, where I am right now is pretty good. It's not too bad here. Yeah, yes, just here looks all right. Dry enough. Good. I can come back to it anyway. I'm this close, I may as well go for my destination. And see how I did timing wise. I'm probably a couple of minutes over what I thought. I did do a slight detour there for a dry piece of ground. There we go. Okay, so I said if I was 17 and 18 I wouldn't mind, but I did do a bit of a detour there looking for a spot, and I was quite happy I was on track because I could see the cairn from quite a way. So no more missing, not much time left. I'm just going to focus on a spot here now. Well, I faffed around a little bit there trying to decide on a spot, kept walking around like an idiot, but anyway, we're up now. There's the cairn there, just in time, but I have to watch it. I didn't realise, but there's a great big hole here. Hopefully it's not there because there's some burrowing animal. I'll be thinking about that now all night. A little bit of a rush job there to get the tent up. I've got my big Agnes mat. This mat's been brilliant. It's transformed night's sleep there. I've got my pillow in there. I'm going to try and stuff a few more clothes in because the pillow hasn't worked great for me in the past, but if I get a few more clothes in that netting, I might get a better night's sleep. And I've got my usual Decathlon down sleeping bag puffing up nicely. I might try and set up a time lapse with my GoPro. I've not done that on a sunrise before. Well, I did do it once. I was pointing in the wrong direction. My patented tent boots, dry socks and plastic bags just for popping out for calls of nature. I won't be going out too far anyway. Can't beat a pot of noodles when you're out. You can't if that's all you got anyway. Ham cheese sandwich and a pot of noodles. Oh, I need this tonight. It's been a lovely day. It's been a great hike up. The timing's worked out pretty good. Certainly the bearings were on the mark, and I found a lovely pitch. It's beautiful lakes up here, and weather it's been absolutely fantastic for October. It's very calm, hardly any wind, which is great. I just find it's the flapping in the tent that keeps me awake. If it's raining, I don't mind, I love that. But it's very quiet and peaceful here at the moment. I'm just doing a final check. I'll settle down for the night. Done up well. Not expecting any strong winds tonight, so it should be fine. All secure. I'm looking well for the night. I'm going to get in there now and settle down. Temperatures dropped considerably now. It was a bright sunny day. The clouds are clear and I can see stars, so it is October. So I think it's going to start getting a bit cold tonight. So I'll leave it there now and see what the morning brings.
Oh, morning. Well, it's 5:30. I've been awake for about an hour, I suppose. I normally get up at 5 o'clock anyway, so this isn't unusual. It was a pretty good night. Hardly any wind. Tent was moving, just swaying slightly. Gentle breeze outside, nothing much. I got massive cramps in both legs. Just as I was going off to sleep, I get that too regular. Not used to hiking and sleeping out, and then when I'm moving around and pulling my legs up tight to my chest, all of a sudden they just grab. I wonder does anyone else get that? It's probably a sign of age. I'm sure I wouldn't have got that years ago when I was younger. Well, I can't really lie in any longer, so have a bit of breakfast while it's dark and get myself ready to head off when it gets first light. Should be about 7:30 this time of year. That's a great little stove, this. Wasn't the most expensive from Van Gogh. I forget exactly, I think it was about 20 quid. Nice little container. Cheap and cheerful. Balls up quickly. It does the job. Put the bag in there. Turn it off. So that steam out there. That's great. It's been sucked out lovely. Well, I made myself a really efficient pillow. It's one of the things that has been problematic and find it hard to sleep. So I'm using the mesh bag that comes with the down sleeping bag. I wrapped the blow up pillow with my polyester jacket and it's filled out lovely, and that was a really comfortable pillow last night. So that was really good. Oh, let's get a look out there. Wow, it's looking like a lovely morning. I'll get my gear together and get out there, I think.
Well, it's an absolutely glorious morning. Got everything in my rucksack near enough apart from the tent. I'll just be packing that away and then we'll be heading off. But yeah, I had a lovely sunrise, I think. Hopefully I've got that on the time lapse. It was looking good, but I'm not too sure whether it was a little bit of cloud drifted in there, so we will see. I've got my sealskin gloves, waterproof gloves. These are absolutely fantastic. I don't particularly need them for waterproof this morning, but keep my hands nice and dry while I put the tent away. And I'm looking forward to a hike back. I'm just going to follow a reciprocal of my route up here, so I'll take a look at the map in a minute and we'll do the timings and bearings as per usual. So just taking a little look around here before I get to the point of packing up the tent and heading off. It's so peaceful out here, it's fantastic. Nice tents lock there behind me. Looking very serene in the morning. Just pack up the tent now. We'll look at the bearings and the timings back and we'll set off. So we'll be heading off in that direction there. So just to recap, I'll be heading off from the cairn just north of Loch Tents over to Loch Naweeloge on a bearing of 255 degrees. Okay, now I reckon it's going to take me 14.5 minutes. I'm not counting the contours going down, but it is quite rough land here. So I'm going at 4 kilometers an hour, so let's say 15 minutes. It's really good day today, so I can actually see virtually everything. So I can see this loch here, which is Loch Naweeloge. That's that loch over there. But I'm going to be heading off in this direction, just to the north of Tents Loch and over towards the ridge in the distance there. It should take me about 15-16 minutes over this sort of terrain to get to the edge of Naweeloge. You don't often get this good weather in Ireland, up on the hills. Got to take advantage of that. That's perfect light this morning for me. Sun's just behind me and to the left. Easy walking and great visibility. Just checked my compass, but I was still on track, and I was actually heading slightly off because I went into a dip, so I lost the horizon. So just a quick check, a few degrees change, and I'm back where I want to be. But you can go off very quickly, very easily, if you're not keeping an eye on that. And you find out that a few degrees off after about 10 minutes makes you off laterally by quite a distance. And if the weather's bad, well, that could be serious. In this weather, nothing serious, it's just fun. So I'm sure I'm on track, but if I am, just as I come over this rise here, or come to the edge of this ridge, there should be the loch. There we go. Wow, it's beautiful this morning. Beautiful. So that's the Bollybrack Ridge. Just where those turbines are is where I camped. You can't see it, but it's two lovely lochs there. Loch Strand is one of them, the other one doesn't have a name. Now, I did that walk in a lot worse weather than this, and on my way back I did detour slightly because I was looking for something that I thought had blown away but hadn't. Eventually found it was in my pocket, and so my starting point heading back, I guessed at it and I was off. Now, I'd gone beyond the timing and I'd realised, well, this isn't right. So I checked my map. I could see it sloping away to the left, rising on the right with the ridge on my right. I didn't come across the loch I was looking for. It had gone about 2 minutes, 3 minutes beyond what I said it should be. I then judged that if I took a 90 degree for about 5 minutes, I should get over a ridge, and then once I got there, I did another 90 degree turn to my left, and if I carried on for another 6 minutes, I should have come down to the loch. Now, it was very, very difficult to see. I couldn't be certain visually, so I just had to trust my compass. I used to do a bit of flying years ago, and the advice was trust your instruments because your instincts will get you killed. And now, not that you necessarily get killed out here, it's possible, but highly unlikely. But they will take you in the wrong direction, and you will really feel that, yeah, this feels right to me, when it's absolutely not right. So you really have to trust your compass. Do your plan, set it up, and then follow that plan. So I'll check my timings when I get down to the edge of this loch here. It should have been about 15 minutes. I'm just at the corner of the loch here now. I've just checked my phone. I must get myself a proper watch with a timer on it. Checking the phone each time is a nuisance. But that was 90 minutes. Now I said about 15-16 minutes, and I've realised what I'm doing is I'm stopping and taking video. Well, I'm not exactly stopping, I'm slowing down. I'm talking to camera as well, and actually realising for most that way I'm then not powering on the way I would have calculated. So lesson learnt. When I'm doing these sort of things and taking a bit of video, I'm going to have to add another little bit of time on to compensate for that, or else not talk so much. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, very wet and boggy down here by this loch. Only me and a few birds around. So I'll be going around this part here, and it says on the map that there's a cairn there. I actually don't think there's much of a cairn, to be quite honest. And then I'll take my reciprocal bearing down to the forest. I'll be able to see it from there, to be quite honest, but just for practice. They're saying the map reading and navigation and timings should all be done in good weather, so that you get confident at that, so that when you do get the bad weather, you don't start flapping and you follow your plan. So just orientating my map for north. Where I'm going here now is from that cairn at the southern side of the loch, just to almost the edge of this forested area. I'll be cutting through it a little bit there, and then heading down to that track, and my car's somewhere down here. We can see we have a bearing there of 250 degrees. Now on the way up it was 15 minutes. It is quite rough terrain, so I'd say it's going to probably take me about 20 minutes to get from that cairn down to the edge of that woods. Put the needle in the housing. I'm heading off in that direction. Yeah, just to report in on the weight I've been carrying. When I set out, I weighed it at 17.5 kilograms, but it's actually really manageable. Obviously that's to do with the quality of the rucksack or backpack, however you want to call it these days. Rucksack is my favourite term anyway. So that's the Osprey Aether, and as long as you make sure that you've got it adjusted correctly and you've got it cinched up on your waist so that the waistband is transferring most of the weight into the hips and not hanging off your shoulders, then it's working really well, very comfortable. Now I know this isn't a full day's hike, but it's far enough over rough enough ground as well, and it's not the first outing that I've had with this. I just wanted to see how it went over a few of them, so I know it could actually take more weight and still be comfortable. Maybe I'll take a couple more luxuries in the future, we'll see. I could do with a frying pan and cook something decent. I'm getting a bit sick of just boiling up noodles at night. Alright, coming up to the tree line I'm aiming for. And check the timings then. They've definitely been a bit rougher. So I know it's going to take me a couple more minutes than I thought, just looking at the map. So that's me at the tree line that I was aiming for. So I said about 16 minutes, so we've got 16:50 here now. When I planned it, it was looking at 14.5, 15 minutes. So another couple of minutes there for the sort of terrain. And if I look back, I had to really slow down, and quite a bit of that because it's quite a lot of holes. And going down here now, there's going to be a lot of holes, and that's all to do with old trees and gaps. So I'm going to have to be really careful. So I might go a bit further down there and into the left, or I might just cut across here, up a little bit more, and then down to the right, which is sort of the way I came. But I don't know, I have to think about that. Maybe a bit further down here. I'm going to take a look at the map. I think the trees thin out a little bit more further down, for a bit anyway, so I can cut across into the left. Let's see. mean a few birds twittering away here. So I'm just down to the edge of the thicker forest, and I'm going to be cutting along up there, and I should find my track down to the right. I know it's quite boggy in there though, so once we get across here, that's where we're heading. Well, that was a bit rough. I came back a different way than I went up, and it definitely wasn't easy. But I'm back at the point I want to be here now, so I just need to be heading down there, and I can actually see the car. I'm closing down here now. I really enjoyed that wild camp and that hike, and if anyone's watching this, I hope you've enjoyed it as well. So until next time, all the best.